diagonal nuestras historias para saber más. Un mensaje de the Alzheimer's Association y the Ad Council.
Early break with Sip and Jake.
The division sucks. The Big Ten West sucks right now. And the fact that you should have a chance to win this thing.
You should be in there.
Next year is the final year of the Big Ten West.
Yeah, it's not.
And I can't see right now projecting the next year one team having an epic rise. It looks like it's going to be very similar to this year of a hodgepodge.
I have a hard time saying that it sucks.
It's not very good.
Early break with Sip and Jake from 6 to 8 every weekday morning on 93.7 The Ticket. This is Bigger Than the Score with Peter Ferguson from Lincoln Public Schools on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Well, good Sunday morning. I think it's November 6th in Lincoln, Nebraska on 93.7 The Ticket. I'm Pete Ferguson with Peter Ferguson BHS LLC and Lincoln Public Schools. And excited to be here this morning with Harrison. Got the Lincoln Stars jersey on, going blue for us.
They had a big win. I went to the game Friday. They played the Omaha Lancers.
Okay.
They're big rivals. I think the Lincoln Stars are still number one in the West, so they're having a nice season. So we went to that one. They won that one 1-0. Some good fights in there. Got a little chippy. Those teams just don't like each other.
That's what you pay for. You pay for the fights. When you go there. You don't. I mean, like I said, I still don't know line shifts. People jumping over walls. I know they use a stick and a puck, and there's a net, and the light goes off, and people start cheering. So
I still try to figure out the neutral zone. That one's still. It's like soccer, but it's so hard. I still can't pick it up. It's so fast. But no, it was a great game. Shout out Lincoln Stars. They've been awesome this year.
Good stuff. I keep thinking there's a get back coach in hockey. That's what I want.
Yeah,
get back coach. So get back in the box. Get back in the box. No, hey, excited to be here this morning, and just daylight savings time. You got some light when you're driving in, so that is honestly that's a feel good right there when you wake up.
It was nice. I saw Todd and Jay for their first show, and I showed up here, and I was like, the light's out. It's nice. It's already a little bit. It's like, it just feels weird walking in the studio. It's just pitch black. It's nice to get an hour of sleep tonight too. That helped a lot.
Well, always a good thing. Hey, we got a full show today, so I want to give a couple quick shout outs. It's been a good but a long weekend, and so I have to just personally take a point of privilege and say congratulations to Northwest Missouri State. I always give updates, but my daughter's down there playing volleyball, and it was a good week. Wednesday they got a win against the University of Central Oklahoma and captured a share of the conference title.
Oh, that's awesome.
Then Saturday against Newman won, and they got sole possession, and that's the first time ever in the history of the school that the volleyball team's gotten a conference title. So I want to give a shout out to the whole team, Coach Amy Worth and that squad out there. It was kind of a cool night, and Friday was kind of bittersweet. It was senior night. So I got told what I could wear. I said I disappointed the family a little bit on senior night for high school. I was wearing a cream colored suit after Labor Day. So I was told no green jacket or anything, but got to walk around. And honestly, I don't get to say I love promoting other people, but I always tell people, I don't play favoritism, but I do have a favorite. And so Jaden Ferguson, I just want to say, I'm extremely proud of her and what she's done, not only on the court, but off the court afterwards. Some young ladies came up and gave her flowers and some kids and things like that. And it was kind of touching. It was really cool for me to do that. So I want to say congratulations to Jay Fergie, 13, out there in Northwest Missouri State, and got conference coming up this week.
Yeah, and while we're at it, for shouting out our schools here, Cedar Catholic School I went to, Hartington's a nice season.
Yeah.
They're Cedar Catholic volleyball girls. They won the volleyball championship, C2, so they took that one home. And man, they've been knocking on the door forever. So they finally found a way to take one home. I remember my senior year, the team went undefeated and then lost in the championship game, which is just brutal. So for them to come back, not that, it's only 2022, just come back that fast and win that thing 4 years later. It's a nice program. So shout out to Cedar Catholic volleyball team. If we got any Northeast people listening, those guys finally took home state and won pretty convincingly too.
Well, had a busy week in the city with state volleyball going on. So we did have three Lincoln schools represented. I guess we can claim Norris as well, but we had East and Southwest that were in. They got knocked off in the quarterfinals, but then the champions were Papillion South, I believe, in A. Scott continues their dominance across the state. Grand Island Central Catholic, Lincoln Lutheran, again, I think they went 40-0 over the this season. And then your Cedar Catholic, so again, shout out, and then Howes Dodge. So really, like I said, a busy weekend. It's kind of that time where we're starting to make a shift to other sports, but celebrating some championships. So congratulations to all those teams as well. Also, somebody won the lottery.
I didn't hear that.
Yeah, we were informed that somebody won the lottery. Tennessee, I don't think got the football win, but I heard there's somebody in Tennessee won. And so, needless to say, I know some of you thought we were the ones in this room who won it, but we're here at work today. And so we did not, but that's the rumor. I knew how I was going to spend all that money. And I'm going to have to recalculate on some things. So Amazon, some stuff's coming back. I'm just letting you know.
Yeah, what was that? You remember what the number was on that? It was what, 12 billion or
1.9 or 1.6?
Oh, it wasn't that high. Okay.
Yeah,
it was, I mean, I still a lot of money.
You said 12. Look at you.
I was thinking the
like
Powerball.
He's like disappointed. 12 billion. All of a sudden, you got people going out writing things. We just had the financial people on here earlier. I mean, come on now. Also just, again, I want to, this week I got an opportunity to be in Kansas. Okay. And I have to give a shout out to some scholars. I got to do a Kansas Children's Service League. It was their parent leadership conference. Mm-hmm. And there were some scholars there. We got to run a youth track, and they found out that they looked me up, and they were like looking people up and like, what's this 93.7 The Ticket? And I was like, oh, it's a sports radio show, this, that, and the other. And they're like, you're on Sunday. So would you give us a shout out? So to all those scholars that were in there, Gordo, Nassim, Astra, I have to, Jara, Micah, this is your shout out if you got up this morning. They were phenomenal, man. They asked a question of me at the end, and I'm going to ask our guests, but I'm going to ask this from here on going out. They said, what brings you joy? This young man asked at the end. I said, what's a question you all want to ask? And he goes, what brings you joy? And so that was solid. I mean, I'm gonna pose that to you as a prep. What brings you joy, Harrison?
Oh man, it's definitely correlated with work and pride. I don't know. For me, it's if I'm working at something, and I'm taking pride in it, like that can bring me joy. It's got to be something that I like doing, but it can't be easy. There's got to be some friction, that along the way. So family is an obvious answer, but I just feel like if you're looking for your own personal happiness, yeah, it's definitely you got to find pride in what you do, whatever that may be.
I think, I go along with that. I told those young people, I said, just the fact that you're in this space, your presence brings me joy. And so I just want to give a shout out to them and Pam Noble for putting that together. We've got a big week coming up this week. November 8th is the election. Mm-hmm. So I'm just going to, again, implore everybody, just get out there and vote.
Yeah, absolutely.
We've heard a lot of commercials and things like that. And people have put down a lot for us to be able to have that opportunity. And so, this is a sports show, but it's also so much more. And we say it's bigger than the score. Take that opportunity if you're of age, go out and vote. If you're a young person listening and your mom or dad or grandparent or an adult you're connected with, don't hesitate to go up and say, hey, did you vote today? Not who did you vote for, but did you vote today?
Yeah.
It might push them to that extra. I would love to see some record turnouts this year, just for the mere fact that we need to honor that process.
Yeah, and like you said, I mean, it feels like all time we've had so many. Everyone has hot political opinions, but the voting numbers are always lower than you'd expect. So it's just if you got opinions, you really got to go out there and vote yourself. Even if you think it doesn't matter in a place like Nebraska, just go out and do it. You never know what your vote could be. It's absolutely huge. Because like you said, it's a right that we have that other places would beg to have. So take advantage of it.
Yeah, and we love it's great being on Twitter, Facebook, this, that, and the other. But the bottom line is this is what makes the difference. Mm-hmm. So on Tuesday, November 8th, get out there. Do what you can do and go ahead and go check a box. And so be informed. I know there's stuff in the paper, on the radio, television, do that, but take that opportunity. Cowboys got a bye week this week. So I did wear blue, but I didn't go ahead and wear, I didn't want DP. I know he's feeling a lot better. Every time the Cowboys win, DP spirits go up. Sorry about your Commanders. We'll have that conversation another time. And this, just kind of the change of season. We're changing the activities, starting to change over to, some things. And so we've got some great guests here that are going to speak to that a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. And we'll have the text line open for all that. Hit up the Sartor Hamann text line, 402-464-5685. If you want to ask any of these scholars any questions, we will get to those. But before we go to break here, why don't you kind of give a breakdown on who we got coming for the rest of the show?
Yeah, got a full house, and again, excited to have some individuals to speak about some things. I think it's timely because that seasons are changing over a little bit to those winter activities. We also got theater, and we've got dance, and we've got some of those things. But we've got Patrick Neely in the house. He's a Renaissance man. I mean, wrestling coach, an educator, a photographer. I mean, he's gonna put every business out there for you. So if he's gonna take some photos of us and make us look good today, Harrison.
Absolutely.
See what his skills are. But no, he's gonna be here speaking in regards to wrestling and some of the things that he's done. And then he's got a scholar, Kira. We got 2 Ks. This is like the 3rd week in a row I've had multiple people with the same initial. I'm gonna stop doing that. But Kira, who is going to be on the first ever sanctioned Northeast wrestling team, and she does some other things as well. And then we've got Miss Charity Yamanya, and she is the head women's basketball coach at Northeast High School, but also has had a long-standing history in this city of dominance whatsoever. We were going to talk about going one-on-one earlier, but that old knee thing kind of acted up and flared up. So we'll talk about that later. But she's an educator, a mentor at Northeast High School, and just a community stakeholder as well. And then Kiara. Yes, I got it right here. She's here, and she's going to be representing Northeast basketball, but also more so as a scholar and a stakeholder at Northeast High School. So I'm excited to have them just kind of give some insight on who they are, the pride of being a Rocket, and going from there.
Yeah, absolutely. With that being said, we will go to break. This is Bigger Than the Score on 93.7 The Ticket with host Pete Ferguson. I'm Harrison Arns running the board. And like I said, we got a full show ahead going all the way up until 9 o'clock. We'll get to hear from these scholars, so stay tuned in.
Are you tired of lousy internet and faceless customer service? It's time to experience local, honest, hassle-free, and exceptional. That's the Allo Promise. We not only provide crazy fast fiber internet, crystal clear TV, and dependable phone service, but we choose to become a part of the communities that we serve and love when everyone calls or stops by our store to say hello. So don't settle for mediocre, settle for exceptional with Allo. Visit us at allofiber.com/local.
In every office, there's 2 types of people. There are those who bring in bagels and those who eat the bagels that someone else brought in. Everybody likes the first person. Be that first person. Weekday mornings at 7:30, you have a chance to win a business box of bagels from Bagels and Joe. All you have to do is shut up, Sipple. 2 questions for you, 2 for Sip. Win, and the bagels are yours. Lose, well, you don't want to lose.
You lost Monday, you lost Wednesday, you're a loser.
Shut up, Sipple. Weekday mornings at 7:30, brought to you by Bagels and Joe.
This message is for Shauna, my mom, who just finished her high school diploma. I wanted to say I'm so proud of you for finishing school. You told me it's never too late to achieve your dreams. I hope to make you as proud as you have made me.
When you graduate, they graduate. Finish your high school diploma for you and for them. Visit finishyourdiploma.org to find free and supportive adult education centers near you. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
November 14th through the 18th is American Education Week. I'm Jenny Benson, president of the Nebraska State Education Association. American Education Week was first celebrated in 1921. The goal was to create awareness about the need for education and to garner support to fund our public schools. I want to thank all Nebraskans for supporting your local public schools. Together, we are helping students achieve and succeed.
Sponsored by the Nebraska State Education Association, aired by the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Finally, a good reason to have a smart house. Just say, Alexa, play 93.7 The Ticket, and we'll magically start playing. How's it work? Nobody knows. Don't ask questions.
I'm Chris Jakovic. I served in the United States Air Force and I deployed 3 times. So in 2017, I was serving as an Air Force First Sergeant. Our motto in that role is my job is people, everyone is my business. But unfortunately in that year, I would lose my own brother, Lance Corporal Adam Jakovic, to suicide. The majority of veteran suicides are from guns. I store my weapons securely, not only for myself, but for my family. Store all your guns securely. Help stop suicide. My service never stops.
Brought to you by End Family Fire and the Ad Council.
I learned patience from my adoptive dad. All he had to say was,
"Hey, you got this. Just breathe." Hey, we're pretty good.
Yeah.
Might have to start a band.
Got it.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. You can't imagine the reward. Visit adoptuskids.org to find out more. This message is brought to you by Adopt US Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
Ashiro's work is never done. You care for the house, the kids, and our future. We're so grateful for all you do. Now it's time to care for yourself and save a little more for retirement. A free 3-minute online chat can give you the personalized tips you need to boost your retirement savings now. Visit aceyourretirement.org/Shiro today.
A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Okay, kids, Dad's gonna teach you how to dance. First, spread your feet apart. Then, pump your knee, nod your head, shake your hips, and bite your lip ever so slightly. Now, with one hand in the air, point at people with the other hand. I call that the rock star.
Dance like a dad. It's a great way to make a moment with your kids.
Now, make a face like it just smells something bad.
Visit fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
If you or someone you know is having thoughts of suicide or experiencing a mental health or substance use crisis, call 988 for free, confidential, and compassionate support. On July 16th, the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline is transitioning to 988. There is hope. For 24/7 support, call, text, or chat 988.
Sponsored by Nebraska DHHS, aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Back to Bigger Than the Score with Peter Ferguson from Lincoln Public Schools on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Awesome. Good morning. Good morning. Once again, this is Pete Ferguson. I think I was just told earlier by one of our guests we're about to have some moments, so I'm excited about that. But Pete Ferguson with BHS LLC and Lincoln Public Schools, and I am joined here by Kira, I got it right, Scholar Kira, and Coach Neely from Lincoln Northeast. And they're going to share a little bit with us about things that they're involved in, but also a focus on wrestling. And so welcome to both of you. I'm glad to have you all in studio.
Thanks for having us this morning. Appreciate the invite.
Kira's got that head nod, so she gave us the thumbs up. She's like, get going. I want to have those moments with y'all. That's all right. That's all right. Hey, Patrick, tell us a little bit about yourself, your just educational journey, and just a little bit about your athletic journey.
Yeah. I'm originally from Eastern Iowa, so I'm a Hawkeye fan. So,
Harrison, go ahead. Escort him out there. Escort him right now. Kira, you got the rest of this segment.
I see the sticker up in the corner, right? So we got a little Hawkeye represented in here. Originally from Eastern Iowa. I actually probably took, not a typical journey to kind of get where I am. Coming out of high school, I love sports. I love the activities, the interactions. That was kind of my main motivation in high school. But school wasn't super easy. And so signing up for 4 more years of school seemed like a idea that I wasn't ready for. So I actually went into the trades. I went into heating and air conditioning with some family friends. Really gave me a chance to kind of grow up, mature a little bit more. See the world maybe 10 years down the road instead of just 10 days in front of me, and that gave me a chance to grow up a lot, and then that helped me to kind of see I think pursuing further education was something I wanted to do. I ended up at Northwest Missouri State, actually.
All right,
so
go Bearcats,
go
right?
Go Bearcats, big shout out to them again. Where I really would say that I kind of came into my own and blossomed. The thought of doing some athletics at the next level was something that crossed my mind, but really kind of something I think during that time of being out of school, being off the wrestling mat, or off the field, I kind of let that go. I wasn't super talented as an athlete. I did 4 sports in high school, enjoyed all of them, was not a by all means championship athlete in any of them. It just really gave me a chance to be a part of something that was bigger than me, and that's I think what I enjoyed the most. Made my way from Northwest Missouri State to Lincoln, Nebraska, doing my student teaching, and liked it so much, stayed, met my wife. And so here we are today. And then, got into the coaching side of things at Northeast in 2006 when I got here, and kind of been a rocket ever since.
Awesome. So, and what's your role at Northeast right now?
Yeah, right now, I am now a counselor. That was a change that I made. This is my second year in the counseling side of things at Northeast. After stepping down from coaching, the wrestling program, like there was a huge void kind of in my heart. I will never forget the first day that I walked over to the building, swiped my ID, and it didn't let me in. And so it's like, we can't keep doing this.
We got to be real clear. We're looking for educators. So we will make
right.
sure your ID works.
Yep,
so
yep.
yeah.
So I taught at Dawes and then moved over to Mickle as a counselor too, but then was always connected to Northeast during that time. And so once that changed a little bit, so made that adjustment and joined the counseling team at Northeast High School. Absolutely love it.
Awesome. Thanks. And we've got Scholar Kira. So Kira, tell us just a little bit, where did you go to school? Have you always lived in Lincoln? And then a couple things that you do at Northeast.
I went to elementary school at Belmont Elementary.
Okay, go ahead, Cougars.
I transferred to Campbell Elementary my second grade year. After that, I went to Goodrich for 6th grade and then half of 7th grade, and I transferred to Dawes. And then I finished my middle school years there. And then I've been going to Northeast since I was a freshman, and I'm now a sophomore.
Okay, so you're big time there.
Yeah.
You're big time in those halls. I like that. Kira, I heard you're involved in a number of different things before we get into the wrestling aspect. So what else do you do at Northeast? What do you enjoy? Maybe even outside of school?
Outside of school, I like working out and things like that, staying active. Inside of school, I play softball and I do cheer.
Okay.
And then I'm going to do tennis in the spring and wrestling during the winter.
So multi-involved, not just athletically, but multi-involved. So that's awesome in itself. So got to ask this question because we had Erica Kirkland. I always go back to this. Her cheerleading squad, I think she said, works out at 5:30 in the morning. Okay. So are you a morning person that enjoys working out, or do you prefer to work out in the evening?
If I can get up, I'm a morning person, but most of the time that doesn't happen. So in the evening for sure.
Also, 5:30 a.m. workouts at Northeast. Let's go. Let's make it happen, coaches. Coach Charity's looking at me like, I hate you. That ain't gonna happen. That ain't gonna happen. So Patrick, tell us a little bit about wrestling. What kind of scholars get into that? And this is going to be the first year that they're going to have sanctioned wrestling for females, for girls, and it's going to be intertwined with this state tournament at the CHI Health Center in February. And so, who wrestles? I mean, that's just always. I mean, we see stuff on TV and this, that, and the other. Jordan Burroughs, but what type of person mindset has to be an individual that wants to wrestle?
To be honest with you, I mean, anyone and everyone. But the kids that generally enjoy it are those that they're not afraid of hard work. I mean, wrestling it's a grueling sport. It's not always fun. It's not always entertaining. It's a situation where you got to be ready to do things over and over, repetition, learning new things. You're learning ways to control your body that you haven't done before. But generally speaking, those that aren't afraid to kind of get their hands dirty and get their head into the mess a little bit would be the most successful wrestlers for sure.
Awesome. And what does wrestling look like in the city of Lincoln? I know you work with youth, getting them exposed early. And I know like basketball has certain things, football has certain things, but maybe not a lot of people know about what goes into like the development of wrestling, like what kind of opportunities exist for, do they start at 2 years old? Does it start at like 18? When does it start?
Yep. It's an interesting kind of component here in Lincoln where you got a lot of area clubs. There's 6-7 different wrestling clubs around. University of Nebraska has a club that kids are operating out of too. That really provides most of the infrastructure for kids that want to get into that sport at an earlier age. We at Rocket Wrestling Club, we can work with kids pre-K. We talk about working with kids pre-K. We have some kids in there pre-K, but it's just helping to see what those expectations look like at pre-K. 4 years old is about as early as I would ever suggest anybody gets into it. Because they're still just controlling their bodies. And if you're envisioning a Jordan Burroughs double leg out of a 4-year-old, it's not going to happen. I mean, it's just not going to happen.
Shoot, I'm nearly, I was going to say 40, but that's a lie. I can't do a single leg.
Yeah. And so I would say, most successfully when kids are starting to get into it in that mid to late elementary years is when they really start figuring out how to operate their body and how, things move. And then they're also getting something out of it. That's probably the best chance to do that.
Awesome.
And so that's the kind of area clubs provide that,
Okay.
The YMCA doesn't do wrestling,
Right.
and so there's not a lot of infrastructure without that club scene.
Okay. So Kira, why wrestling? Like what got you interested? I mean, you're softball, you said you're doing some other things in the spring. I mean, why wrestling?
It's kind of like a family thing. I know my brother wrestles and he's been wrestling for a really long time. My dad wrestled in high school. And so just having that opportunity to have just that environment with other girls, that really got me interested in it. And then I know with my brother, I'm his dedicated partner to beat up on.
Okay.
And so, you know, kind of having that challenge with him, it was really fun. And so getting that opportunity through my school with Northeast to get involved in the sport, I really liked that idea. So it took a little convincing, but I'm here now. So
Awesome. What's your brother's name?
Caden Ackley.
Okay, Caden, you're about to go down. All right.
Give her some skills to
It's
defend
happened
herself.
before, but Caden, it's about to go down. Hey, again, this is Pete Ferguson on 93.7 The Ticket with Bigger Than the Score. I'm joined here with Patrick Neely, who's at Lincoln Northeast and the wrestling club, and then also Kira, who is also a scholar at Lincoln Northeast and is going to be on the first girls wrestling team, NSA sanctioned. Now they've had wrestling teams and wrestling opportunities, but she'll be on that. So please don't hesitate to give us a call on that Starter Heyman hotline. Kira, tell us a little bit more about just who's been mentors in your life, who has meant something to you and provide you advice that you're like, man, I really have appreciated that.
I definitely have two. One of them would definitely be my dad. He's really been there for me throughout my whole entire journey in life. And he pushes me to do a lot of things that I don't want to do. But then in the end, it like pays off a lot. Like I would have never really even joined sports if it wasn't for him. And so I really appreciate him doing that for me. And then another one would be an old cheer coach. She worked at Northeast last year. And then she moved. But she kind of just like really, when I'm losing love for sports and stuff, she was the person that was there to like push me to keep doing it and made me better as not only a person but as an athlete.
I think that's always important where you have those people. I always talk about those people that provided you those A's, you know, access, and it seems like your dad provided you awareness to those things as well. And we also have your mom that's sitting here in studio. So I'd be remiss if, you know, we don't give some love to mom. But what's one thing that this young woman right here has provided you and instilled in you as you kind of go on this journey?
I'm a very emotional person. I'm really hard on myself, especially when it comes to athletics. And she's always that person that I can go to. Like when I get frustrated after a game or I'm not happy with how I played, she's always that first person to like make me feel better and tell me that I did a good job. And even if I made errors and stuff like that, that I can get picked up and I just need to work on it and then I'll be fine. And so she's done that for me.
Awesome. Kira, you have one shout out from a friend, Mike Alvarez. He says you're going to kick Caden's rear end. So, hey, he says take state. Mike Alvarez, thank you, says take state. So go ahead and do it. Hey, Patrick, tell us about the structure of what like high school wrestling is going to look like now with girls wrestling, kind of what the current looks like, but what the future holds as well.
Yeah. Up until this year, but you know, Lincoln Public Schools didn't have it sanctioned even as of last year, and so any female athlete that wanted to join has to walk into that very male-dominated room and practice right alongside the boys, and that's what girls wrestling has looked like, you know, for the past decade, you know, minus the last few years. You've got some girls that have done that. One that I think about that all these girls are walking into wrestling rooms now comes to mind is Brittany Taylor out of Omaha North.
Wow.
Back in the mid 2000s. Yes. Boy, she really was a trailblazer. And I think all these women are standing on the shoulders of those athletes now to say that, hey, we're here, we can do this, we can compete. And that's exciting to see. The changes that are made now is that, you know, the training aspect is going to look a little bit different in that, you know, you've got two separate sanctioned sports, and so they got to have their own separate structures. So what practice is going to look like and getting partners, you know, we're getting some coaches into the room now that are dedicated to that female wrestling program. So that's pretty exciting for us. And so structures are going to change a little bit, but at the same time too, I guess I describe that as a team within a team. You know, the goal is to kind of still keep those two programs married together, working together, training together, but within the structures that they're allowed to do so. So it's a little bit different, but I don't think you're going to see anything drastically different as far as training and you know what those coaches are going to be working together hand in hand, constant communication. That's how I think that's going to look.
Well, I think it's like any of the sports. You want that they both have an understanding of what's needed.
Yeah.
They both have similar characteristics on what makes up who gets into the sport. And so supporting one another is going to be huge. And and as I think in my head, I mean, what better year, long overdue for this to occur, but what better year for it to happen than the 50th anniversary of Title IX.
Yeah.
And so when you think about that together,
That's right.
this is just, you couldn't ask for better timing. Again, long overdue, but better timing. What excites you most about just getting a season? You're going to be you're going to be a trailblazer. I mean, think about it, 2022. And I hate saying that because that seems so disheartening that we still have to have that in 2022, but it first always has to happen. What is that going to be like when you get out there and you step on that mat for the first time? And it's like, you know what, you're going to get to put your finger up the entire year and say number one.
I'm really excited for the competition. And one reason why I haven't done wrestling before is just it did not feel very fair going against boys because I felt like I would be outpowered. So just that fair, fun, even competition, I'm really looking forward to that. And I'm really looking forward to the challenge, especially with something new. And some of these girls out here have been doing it for a really long time. I know a few people that have been doing it since they were really young that are girls. And so I'm just looking forward to trying something new and having fun.
Awesome. So as we get ready to kind of end this segment, what's a piece of advice that you want to give to anybody out there? I was going to say to young girls or whatever, but honestly, it should be universal advice. What's some advice you want to give to people out there?
I'm going to say try everything, because if you don't try stuff, you're never going to know if it was fun, if you like it, if you don't like it. Like, you always have to take that opportunity and you got to just run it over. You never know if you never do it.
I love that. Like I said, you're making moments. You're still doing that. Coach Patrick, what's something you want to say?
I mean, first it would be exactly what you just said, is taking off those opportunities. But I guess so, I'll build on that with, like, you're going to get out what you put into. Try those new opportunities, but at the same time, run it over. I mean, what a great phrase that she just used with that, is like, throw everything into it, because you're not going to know what you're going to get out of it. But wrestling is one of those sports you can't dip your toe in the water. You got to dive in and get going. Otherwise someone else is going to run you over.
Yeah.
But that's great advice. Try it all and put your whole heart into it. And then you'll find yourself and what your skills are going to be at.
Awesome. Hey, Coach Patrick, Kira, loved having you on here, and we're looking forward to your first season. Hey, this is Pete Ferguson, 93.7 The Ticket, bigger than the score. We'll be back with our next segment right after this break.
Sunday morning. It's quiet, not in a weird, too quiet way. Calm, peaceful, tranquil. You pour yourself that cup of coffee. You slice yourself a hearty chunk of one of Beatrice Bakery's breakfast breads. Now, maybe you're an apple streusel guy. Nothing wrong with that. I can respect that. Personally, I'm a turtle nut man. Something about those pecans. But the real ones know, don't sleep on that date nut bread. Sweet, but not too sweet. Nutty, not overly. The perfect morning treat. Beatrice Bakery. Online at beatricebakery.com. Welcome to our world of yum.
Serve Nebraska believes that volunteers are part of what makes Nebraska great. Each year, the Step Forward Awards honors volunteers from across the state who serve their communities in outstanding ways. We hope you'll join us this year at the Step Forward Awards luncheon on October 27th in Omaha. Help us thank volunteers with a celebration to remember. To register, visit serve.nebraska.gov and click Register Now. We hope to see you there. Paid for by Serve Nebraska. Aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
My simple solution to the problem was remove people from the scene and help them feel safer.
In response to attacks against Asian Americans, Maddie Park raised over $250,000 to donate cab rides to the Asian community.
There is so much more work to be done. We really need to come together and tackle this issue as a community.
Support the Asian community. Learn how at lovehasnolabels.com. Brought to you by Love Has No Labels and the Ad Council.
Veterans, do you know what local, state, and federal benefits and services you're eligible to receive? Do you want help navigating the application or appeals process? Speak to your county veteran service officer or the Nebraska Department of Veterans Affairs State Service Office to see what's available to you and your family. You've served our country, now let us serve you. Visit veterans.nebraska.gov today. Sponsored by the Nebraska Department of Veterans Affairs, aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
A smoke-free environment is the only way to fully protect from the dangers of secondhand smoke. That's why smoke-free policies are so important to me. Whether it's in my car, apartment building, or when I'm dining outdoors, there's no place for secondhand smoke or e-cigarette aerosol. Breathe easier knowing the facts. Visit smokefree.ne.gov. Paid for by Tobacco Free Nebraska. Aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Okay, kids, Dad's gonna teach you how to dance. First, spread your feet apart. Then, pump your knee, nod your head, shake your hips, and bite your lip ever so slightly. Now, with one hand in the air, point at people with the other hand. I call that the rock star.
Dance like a dad. It's a great way to make a moment with your kids.
Now, make a face like it just smells something bad.
Visit fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
Veterans, do you know what local, state, and federal benefits and services you're eligible to receive? Do you want help navigating the application or appeals process? Speak to your county veteran service officer or the Nebraska Department of Veterans Affairs State Service Office to see what's available to you and your family. You've served our country, now let us serve you. Visit veterans.nebraska.gov today. Sponsored by the Nebraska Department of Veterans Affairs, aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
How was your drive to school?
Let me tell you, I had to get my iced coffee first. I just can't seem to put it down. My favorite rapper just announced a tour. My phone was buzzing like crazy. I'm so excited. I had to text all my friends right then to talk about it. Then someone started calling me and...
Let's try that again.
I turned my phone off right away. I never drive distracted.
Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
I think it's just vapor.
Vaping is safer than smoking, isn't it?
There's really not even that much nicotine in them, right?
One vape pod has as much nicotine as one pack of cigarettes.
My kid
knows it's dangerous. 5.4 million American kids vape, and most think it's harmless. Get your head out of the cloud. Talk to your kid about vaping. Visit talkaboutvaping.org. That's talkaboutvaping.org. Brought to you by the American Lung Association and the Ad Council.
I'm Chris Jakimick. I served in the United States Air Force and I deployed 3 times. So in 2017, I was serving as an Air Force First Sergeant. Our motto in that role is my job is people, everyone is my business. But unfortunately in that year, I would lose my own brother, Lance Corporal Adam Jakimick, to suicide. The majority of veteran suicides are from guns. I store my weapons securely, not only for myself, but for my family. Store all your guns securely. Help stop suicide. My service never stops.
Brought to you by End Family Fire and the Ad Council.
Back to Bigger Than the Score with Peter Ferguson from Lincoln Public Schools on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, welcome back to 93.7 The Ticket, Bigger Than the Score on Sunday morning, November 6th. This is Pete Ferguson with Peter Ferguson, BHS LLC and Lincoln Public Schools. I'm here with Harrison. We got a couple shout outs on the line too from the last segment, so I wanted to get those out there.
Yeah, we had Vicky Neely chiming in here, so excited about girls wrestling, and then also Anthony chimes in, let's go Rockets. So we got a couple people here. I'm pretty excited about seeing this Rockets team come together.
Fantastic. And we're going to keep it rolling here. We are next joined by Coach Charity, who is the head women's basketball. I say women's head scholar athlete, head girls basketball coach at Lincoln Northeast. And hey, Mom, I'm going to go ahead and apologize. I'm going to say this right. We got Scholar Kiera here, and Scholar Kiera is a member of the Northeast Rockets basketball team. And so apologize. I know I mispronounced her name earlier. I want to make sure I get that right for moms out there. So, but excited to have you both here. Let's just jump right into it. Charity, you've had a long tenure in the community, but tell us a little bit about your journey, who you are, and where you're at right now.
Yeah, so Charity, I'm born and raised here in Lincoln.
Okay.
So I would say I'm a product of Clinton Comets. And then I went off and became a color cougar. Then I finished off in Lincoln at the Lincoln Northeast High School. After high school, I went off and played basketball at the Division I level at SUNY Albany. Came back to Lincoln, took some various jobs working in the community with youth. Then I am now at Lincoln Northeast, back where I left. And I get an awesome privilege of working with our Lincoln Northeast girls basketball program, and then also working as a school counselor there too.
Awesome. Awesome. And so, you know, you talked about is working as a school counselor and then being the basketball coach, kind of a little bit of a unique, you know, combination right there. Why those two things? I mean, obviously you have a love for sports, but why that mixture?
Yeah, when I came back to Lincoln, I knew that I didn't want to work at any other high school but Northeast. So
Okay.
for me, it was all about waiting for the opportunity to arise. I was able to take that job as the varsity girls basketball coach. And, you know, that first year we always joked with our players because I was like, I'm going to get a job here. I'm going to be here Monday through Friday.
I'm going to see you.
Yeah.
I'm going to see you all acting right and acting up. Yeah.
So after that first year, it happened. And I laugh about it with former players where it's like, I'm here now every single day. My athletes get to see me in the hallway. I get to be in the hallways where I was a student too. And there's teachers that taught me that are still there. So to me, it's just really full circle, and I wouldn't want to be anywhere else.
Awesome. I know just being in the district that the excitement of just having you not only in the district, but also within that building brings, we talked earlier about joy, but brings an immense amount of joy to a lot of individuals. So Kiera, gotcha, right? Go ahead. Give me that thumbs up. There you go. That's what I'm talking about. Hey, tell us a little bit about you, your educational journey. Are you from Lincoln? Where did you go to elementary, middle, high school? Tell us a little bit about who you are.
Okay, so I am like originally from Chicago.
Okay, Chi-Town. Go ahead.
Yeah, and I moved up here like around 4th grade.
Okay.
And I went to Clinton. After that, I went to Dawes Middle School. And from there, I did freshman year at North Star. It was pretty not like
Okay, it was an experience for you, yeah.
Yeah, so now this is my second year at Northeast.
All right, fantastic. So tell us, what are you involved in? Obviously, we know basketball. Do you like as far as schooling, are you doing any other activities, things you do in the community?
Last year I had I tried softball.
Okay.
And I also did track, but I don't know if I'm gonna do that this year.
Okay.
But outside of
You were just
school-
too good. You were out there crushing it. You were like, man, I need to try something else. Next is theater, dance, speech and debate. I'm gonna do the full circuit, right? Okay.
But outside of school, I braid hair in my free time.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've been looking for somebody. I have been looking for somebody. Those of you online, what this is just it's a background. It's an illusion. So, all right. So if anybody wants to braid hair, hey, call the station. You're gonna hook them up. You're gonna put some people out of business. All right. All right. So Charity, tell us a little bit about just like what Northeast athletics, but what Northeast basketball has looked like. Obviously I've had a daughter that, you know, they've competed. And so, you know, has always had a long-standing tradition within the city, you know, past the 2000s to the 80s and the 90s on both the boys and girls side of things. But what have you taken from that? But also, what do you feel like you're adding that may have not been there?
Yeah, well, I think when you think Northeast basketball, you think of tradition, you think of pride. You walk into that gym and there's banners in there. There's the photos in there, the state championships from both the girls and the boys program. So anyone that steps into there, you kind of know that you want to give it your best because there's people that came before you and they've been able to leave their mark, and you want to show respect to former athletes. Being in this position now, I'm just super excited about all the different female athletes that I've had the opportunity to coach entering into my 4th season. When I think Northeast basketball, I think of phenomenal athletes. I think of awesome students on the court, but then off the court too. You think of athletes that are involved in just not only athletics, but they're involved in the school building as well. Kiera didn't say it, but she's actually a part of a program that we have called Sister Circle at Lincoln Northeast, where it's a group of African-American female students that get together once a month. And she's a vital component of that. And her voice is just throughout the building. So I'm going to put that plug in there for her. But so that's what I think about when I think of like Lincoln Northeast, the athletics and the basketball program in particular.
You talked about a couple things and real quick, like what character does it take that you look for to be a part of the Northeast community?
Yeah.
Not just athletics, but just the Northeast. What is that expectation of character traits?
Yeah, well, I think just this past Friday, we had the Mickle 8th graders A team over at Northeast. So that's for one, it's about giving back to the community, not just being about yourself, but being selfless and giving back. So when you think of an athlete, I think of someone who's willing to give back to their community, someone who is willing to just give effort with what they do, whether that's with the books or on the court. It's not always about ability, but what is your effort level going to be? Because that's something you can always control. And then someone that's just going to have great energy. You walk into the court, you don't want to see, sad faces, grumpy faces. We want
Right.
smiles. We want kids that are smiling, encouraging, and patting people on the back, and even coaching one another. So those would be the three things that I would say for athletes.
Awesome. We always talk about pushing that hope forward. Often we times tell people we want them to have hope, but putting hope forward.
Yeah.
So what do you think, say Kiara? Kiara. Y'all are going to make me Kiara, excuse me. I'm just going to say Scholar. No, sorry. Hey, what do you think, like, as far as Coach talked about, like, characteristics and traits, what do you look for? What are you looking for in your teammates? So when you have tryouts, when they're coming in, if they don't have these, you're going to be like, I ain't got nothing for you.
I'm looking for somebody who's going to work hard and not give up, but also have great attitude, and also like someone who's going to help each other out. Like, I'm looking for people who's not going to put others down, who's be a bigger person.
Absolutely.
And I like what you said in regards to that. What's one of the things, like we talked about, like bringing joy into the room? Like how do you go about doing that with yourself? I know Coach talked about you in a group and that council. And so obviously that's something that you do on a regular basis. And I saw you light up and smile, and it's like, you do that. Not just when you braid hair, not just when you play softball, basketball, but how do you bring joy in the room? And I'm going to give you a second part of that. How can others do that?
I bring joy in the room by just keeping a positive attitude. Even if I'm having a bad day, I'm not gonna bring that bad energy to other people. I'm gonna stay great towards other people. What I'm looking for towards other people when I say a positive attitude, maybe greeting others, even great advice towards others. Just, yeah.
All right, I'm gonna come back to that. I want that piece of advice. Coach Charity, you said a little bit and you kind of plugged and put some things in that bucket, but tell me about this player right here. Give me one line or 3 words about this Scholar athlete right here.
Vocal and committed. Kiara is definitely one of the most vocal athletes I have this year. Actually, she's probably the most vocal athlete I have this year. And when people think about being vocal and communicating, it's not just just talking. It's about talking with a purpose, talking with a message. And that's what she does every single day at practice. She is encouraging people. She is uplifting people. She is coaching her teammates. So it's talking and being vocal, but with a purpose, with a message, not just to, be out here talking.
No, that's right? Fantastic. No, that's what it's about. Again, Pete Ferguson, 93.7 The Ticket, Bigger Than the Score. We're here with 2 phenomenal, and y'all gonna drill me. So I'm doing my phonetic. Kiara, thank you. Coach Charity here from Lincoln Northeast. Kiara, tell me just the same thing. Give me 3 words or 1 sentence about this coach, because and I'm just gonna be real transparent. Representation matters, okay? And so you have a Black female coach in high school. We have talked about this in some of our other segments where we have had scholars come in. They have not had a teacher of diversity or an educator of diversity, or people have gone through a coach of diversity. We talked earlier about, I don't know who the wrestling coach might be, but will it be a male or a female? There may be some different components with that. What does that mean to you to walk into a gym, walk into a building and see Coach Charity each and every day?
It means a lot because she's very helpful. She's understanding. She's the best. I love being around Charity. She's
playing time. minutes.
But I love being around her. She just always have a great attitude, positivity. Sometimes on the court, practice a little bit, but we still work with it.
Yeah, she gotta get into you though a little bit.
Yeah,
I mean, you gotta go ahead and roll with it, rock with it, do it, get in that stance. Yeah.
But I appreciate the hard teaching. I appreciate all of that because you can't really do much with somebody who's not going to give it to you straight up.
Wow. And I think that's huge in itself. Tell us a little bit of a couple mentors that you've had in your life.
Let's start with Charity. She has really She has really been there. Like, she has helped me with school. She's someone I can talk to when I'm in school. Like, it's just somebody I can depend on. Even in basketball, she's a helpful person. I also want to give a shout out to my mother because she's really the reason why I'm really in love with basketball. Like, her, my brother, they just really inspire me a lot.
Fantastic. Charity, same thing. You talked earlier about some people, but who in your life have been mentors or who have poured into you?
Yeah, I would definitely family, my mom, just with her perseverance, her resilience, her selflessness. My oldest sister, Julie, she's just my sounding board. She keeps me humble. She keeps me focused. I have another sister, Joy, who, is the one that kind of gives me that fire and that desire to keep going with energy. And then Lucky, he's my oldest brother, and he's just always been someone that instills hope in me, and just to keep pushing forward, even when it is tough, even when it is difficult. You just keep pushing forward because you don't know who's watching you.
Right.
And he's someone that I've always watched. So definitely those would be my biggest unit.
Awesome. So, a little bit of just a little segue. What do you think the role is of parents? So you're getting into this season and we're coming in. I see you have that big old smile. What is the role of parents or guardians, as they roll into the high school season, but also just the middle school seasons, regardless of the activity?
Yeah. Be there for your children. It's difficult. Working as a counselor, you get to see a different side of the youth that we have. So I would say be there for your children, but don't be an excuse. So
say that again.
Be there for your children, but don't be an excuse for them. Right. So that looks like encouraging them, listening to them, giving them sound advice about how they can persevere and be resilient, and how what you're learning on the athletic side transfers over to real life situations. So just really being there for your children, but not an excuse.
Awesome. I'm going to ask you the same question, Kira. What's the role of a parent or a guardian?
Like, spending quality time is very much the most important, because you can't really be a parent if you don't know much about your kids. So spending time with them, getting to know them, understanding them, and not putting them down, giving them great advice, just all that good stuff.
I think when I go back to that quality time, nobody high five, that just immediately popped into my head. So I know AD was on the radio last week and he was up here singing. Hey, as we close real quick, 3 words or 1 sentence, something you want to put out there.
Give your best at what you do,
Fantastic.
Always believing your judgment.
Fantastic. Hey, what we had here was 4 phenomenal individuals. This is Pete Ferguson with 93.7 The Ticket, Bigger Than the Score. As I said before, and I always say every week, I often forget what people have said, forget what people have done, but I always remember how people made you feel, by Maya Angelou. Please go out, pour into somebody else. Make sure you pour into yourself as well. Have a great week.